And lastly, for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
A tense moment unfolded live when Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Terence Crawford nearly got caught up in a heated situation shortly after Crawford shocked the boxing world with his win over Canelo Alvarez. As emotions escalated, security quickly stepped in while people around them started shoving, creating the impression, if only for a moment, that icons from different generations might actually come face to face in a physical clash. Despite the intensity, things never turned physical. For a long time, Mayweather held a reputation as a defining fighter of his era, while Crawford is now widely regarded as a top name in the sport today. Incidents like this leave fans wondering if there's genuine tension between them, or if Mayweather is simply keeping himself in the conversation. After Crawford's victory over Canelo, many within boxing began to feel that his achievement carried more weight than anything Mayweather accomplished, and that perception appears to be at the center of the growing friction.
You see all these fighters, they doing the shoulder roll, you see, yeah. And not knocking the guys that paved the way. And I want to come on record and say, I'm appreciative for guys like Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. So many guys that paved the way for me. But there's only one Floyd Mayweather. These fighters are not better than me. You look at the numbers, they say, oh, Canelo may end up beating more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. Wait, he should? With almost, 80 and 90 fights, he should? Mm-hmm. I beat more world champions than any fighter in history. I'm 50-0, but half of my fights were world title fights.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. dominated the sport for years, widely recognized as a top pound-for-pound fighter of his time. He embraced the nickname TBE, short for the best ever, and stepped away from boxing with an unblemished 50-0 record. Along the way, he defeated elite names such as Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, and Oscar de la Hoya. Then Terence Crawford emerged, shifting the narrative and forcing a new debate within the boxing world.
Thank you, GOAT, because you are the GOAT of this era. Terence "Bud" Crawford.
Terence Crawford has now secured championships in multiple divisions while keeping his record flawless. Over time, he has claimed titles across several weight classes, strengthening his position among the sport's elite at the same time. Debates around Floyd Mayweather Jr. continue. Some critics have argued that he was selective with his opponents and faced certain big names later in their careers. On the other hand, his supporters insist he consistently took on top-level fighters and delivered victories while performing at his peak.
Because, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Max Kellerman highlighted this contrast, explaining that Floyd Mayweather Jr. often chose the timing of his matchups very carefully. In comparison, Terence Crawford has consistently been vocal about pursuing the toughest opponents without delay. That distinction plays a key role in how fans evaluate and compare the two fighters.
Second half of the fight put an emphasis on the fact that Bud was in fact outboxing him in the first half of the fight. It is one of the biggest wins in boxing history. And now let Uncle Max gather around, children, and I will explain this. This is the situation, guys. No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Get them all. Forever, the record was 3 by Henry Armstrong. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing.
When comparing their numbers, the gap between them is minimal. What truly sets Terence Crawford apart is his readiness to embrace high-risk challenges in the ring. That fearless approach has sparked widespread discussion across the sport. As a result, fans continue to debate whether Crawford has surpassed Floyd Mayweather Jr.
It's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather.
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
To understand why tensions are so intense, it helps to revisit the fight with Canelo Alvarez. When Terence Crawford entered the ring, many believe the size difference will be too much for him to overcome.
You play with Canelo or Crawford? Canelo.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 150, 168. That he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, of course he's probably been training, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
He then took on a natural 168-pound champion in Canelo Alvarez, a challenge many believe would be too much. Early on, it looked like a mismatch on paper. However, Terence Crawford did more than just endure. He took control and delivered a decisive performance. Canelo connected with strong punches and attempted to apply pressure, but Crawford remained composed, using movement and precision to take control of each round. Even when heavy shots came his way, they failed to alter the flow of the fight. By the 7th round, Crawford had clearly established dominance, and by the 12th, the outcome was evident, with all 3 judges in agreement. This result was more than a standard win. It stood out as a defining moment. Crawford extended his success across multiple divisions while preserving his undefeated record, further cementing his place in boxing history.
For the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. The GOAT, greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches, not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists. Everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
Some fans argue that Floyd Mayweather Jr. would not have pursued that level of risk. In contrast, Terence Crawford moved up and overcame a naturally larger champion at full weight, a move many believe has added to the tension surrounding the comparison. Throughout his career, Mayweather has been highly skilled at shaping his public image. Under the money persona, he built a powerful brand, consistently presenting himself as being on a different level from everyone else in the sport.
I had to have 70 fights, 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Now the attention has moved toward Terence Crawford, with many fans recognizing him as a current pound-for-pound leader. Analysts continue to debate whether his accomplishments have already placed him ahead of Floyd Mayweather Jr., while his supporters argue that he has taken on challenges others avoided. That growing conversation appears to have created friction. Some observers believe it contributed to the tension seen during the post-fight celebration. In the aftermath, Mayweather has publicly criticized Crawford, questioned aspects of his persona, and seemed to invite further rivalry. Many see this as a reaction to Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez, which shifted how their legacies are being compared. As the narrative evolves, it's clear that control over that conversation has become part of the story itself.
How are you feeling to be Chris Eubank's trainer, first of all?
It feels good, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been this trainer before, so
yeah, it's good.
It's a no-brainer.
Of course, congratulations on the win. What's your first reactions to Crawford's victory? One of the greats of this era, right?
Oh, definitely that. You know that.
What do you want to see him do now?
What I want to do now?
What do you want to see Crawford do next?
Do what he had this point now in his career where he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Who would you like to see him fight? Any names? Is there any names in particular you'd like to see?
It doesn't matter.
What about Canelo? Would you like to see him retire?
I don't Canelo's not my responsibility.
Okay.
The important thing to understand is that Terence Crawford doesn't rely on Floyd Mayweather to shape how his career is viewed, and that's something fans need to appreciate. Floyd has consistently made moves that suited his own interests and helped maintain his standing in the sport. Crawford, on the other hand, never tried to come at Floyd or tear down his legacy. He focused on doing his job in the ring and allowed his performances to represent who he is. Crawford picked up a lot of knowledge from Floyd, and they even spent time training side by side earlier in his career. When Bud went on to beat Canelo, instead of fully acknowledging the achievement, Floyd minimized the moment rather than celebrating a historic win. Instead of giving proper credit, he suggested Canelo was not that impressive. That kind of reaction is classic Floyd, always focused on maintaining his own image. And this goes beyond just Crawford. Consider the situation with Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd played a major role in building Tank's career and promoted him under his banner, but when Tank pushed for independence, Floyd began criticizing him and redirected the spotlight back to himself. The same pattern repeats whenever another fighter begins to emerge as a serious presence. Floyd adjusts the narrative to keep the attention centered on him.
He gave you the spotlight, like why would he try to diminish your career? Because at that time, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to bring up mine. But it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept snapping.
Because of that, some people interpret it as jealousy. Bud was not taking shots at Floyd in any way. He was just elevating the sport through his performances. However, Floyd has often seemed uncomfortable when someone else begins to take center stage and is seen as the next leading figure in boxing.
I thought Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
Over the years, Floyd has consistently defined how he sees himself. He refers to himself as a king of pay-per-view and presents his name as the most widely recognized in boxing.
A decade, I'm the fighter of the last century, honestly. and it's a reason why I'm the best fighter of the last 100 years. The credentials show it. And I went out there and showed it. What's better than going out there, being world champion for what, 20 years? Box office, I got the record. Pay-per-view, I got the record. I ain't want to. It's better to win half 5 world titles than 4 at one particular time.
But what stands out now is that Crawford is showing he can rise to that same stage. The fight with Canelo was not only significant in the ring, it became a major global spectacle. It drew strong numbers in theaters, and Netflix played a key role in delivering it to audiences around the world. The venue was packed to capacity, and it ended up being one of the most viewed fights in the last 2 decades.
Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
Crawford is no longer viewed solely as a leading pound-for-pound talent. He has developed into a major draw. Audiences are pulled toward him, and his presence is hard to overlook. He knows how to carry a pay-per-view and transform it into a worldwide occasion. Wherever he appears, he remains in focus and continues to keep his name making headlines.